Good afternoon, friends. This video on one of the important and budding topic. What buyers should do that even after paying the tax to the supplier, to the seller has not deposited the tax with the government exchequer. And thereby credit is being denied for the bona fide buyer or recipient of goods or services on pretext that supplier has not paid the taxes. Seller has not paid the taxes. Under section 16, subsection 2, clause C of CGST Act, there is provision, and one of the condition for availing ITC is unless supplier paid the tax either through e-cash ledger or e-credit ledger, credit is not available to the recipient of goods or services, buyer of goods or services. I'm getting a lot of query from a lot of my viewers, and they're looking, sir, what we should do. We got notices from the department that credit is being denied in the hands of bona fide and honest buyer or recipient on the premise that supplier has not paid the taxes. Even after collecting the tax, he has not deposited the tax. What we should do? My answer to all my friends would be the first. This issue is not a new issue in GST. Even in pre-GST, we have seen the litigation on this point. And this point was debated even in pre-GST era. In one of the Supreme Court judgment, KK Industries Limited, issue was whether credit can be denied for the buyer, for the recipient, for non-payment of tax by the supplier, by the seller. Honorable Supreme Court has said no denial of credit for the fault of supplier of non-payment of tax. There are different judgment coming from different high court. All the high court pan India, including Delhi High Court in the case of Arise India, except one judgment of Bombay High Court in Mahacotton Lakshmi case. Same dispute whether credit can be denied for the fault of supplier of non-payment of tax. All the High Court under VAT regime has given judgment in favor of a taxpayer. Credit can't be denied in the hands of buyer or recipient for the fault of supplier of non-payment of tax. Similar judgment has come, unfortunate part, under GST by Madras High Court in the case of D.Y. Bethel Enterprises. And in this judgment, it is being held that credit reversal cannot be demanded from the recipient, from the buyer, and that too along with interest and penalty for fault of supplier of non-payment of tax. Department must take action. Investigation and inquiry must be initiated against the defaulting supplier first. Then only they can go to the buyer and recipient. So unless such investigation inquiry initiated against the defaulting supplier, department cannot demand reversal of credit along with interest and penalty. So this video is just giving food for thought, some guidance to all of you that what you can follow in reply to such notices if issued by the department, and department is contemplating and alleging that credit is not available to the buyer or recipient for the fault of supplier of non-payment of tax. First, I given you all the judgment which you can rely upon in your reply to the department. Second, there is one legal maxim, lex non cogit ad impossibilia. You cannot compel a person to do something which is impossible. For a buyer, for a recipient, he has paid the tax amount to the supplier, and supplier has not deposited. Supplier defaulted with. So for initial period, when GST got introduced from July 2017 until January 2019, when GSTR 2A was not there, GSTR 2A came sometime in the beginning of 2019. So even buyer or recipient was not knowing, he was not having any window available whereby he can check initially, starting from July 17 to the period when GSTR 2A brought and came into the GST common portal. So we can always say that we were not having any machinery window available before us, whereby we can cross-check and verify that supplier after collecting the tax has not deposited. That legal maxim going to help us. Second, even when we were getting the information that supplier is paying the taxes through GSTR 3B, and this GSTR 2A came sometime beginning of 2019, we were struggling with. Even if supplier paying the tax, I do not know that whether he has paid his liability as disclosed in GSTR 1 first. Second, whether my invoice which is being furnished in GSTR 1 by the supplier coming in GSTR 2A of the recipient, whether that invoice liability also being paid through GSTR 3B. And there could be a case, mismatch of output tax as furnished as per outward supply in GSTR 1 versus GSTR 3B. So what happened in such situation?
Talk to your clients from anywhere. Access your data anytime and from any device. Try Zoho Books.
Third situation could be, even if we assume the supplier has paid the taxes, but he has used the credit as auto-populated in GSTR 2A, but such credit which is auto-populated in GSTR 2A of the recipient and buyer may be a case that his preceding supplier has not paid the taxes. So if preceding supplier has not paid the taxes and that credit getting auto-populated in 2A of my supplier, then what happened? Using such credit for discharging output tax, hence the dispute persists whether that credit would be available, and there is no window available, please adjourn date, for a buyer and recipient. He can't go and check beyond the immediate suppliers. I can only check where from I purchase goods or services, but beyond that I can't cross check. But such notices are also being issued in the trade that if my supplier has purchased some goods or services from his supplier, so preceding supplier supply chain, and therein only GSTR 1 is being filed and GSTR 3B is not being filed, so corresponding taxes are not being paid, of which credit availed by my supplier, and that credit is being used for discharging output tax. Hence, credit in the hands of buyer and recipient is also being denied. But my only point is, as a buyer, as a recipient, can I go back beyond my supplier? There is no window available. Legal maxim, lex non cogit ad impossibilia. Second point. Third important point, and which is very important. In this union budget 22-23, Finance Bill 2022. There is a proposed change in GST law, section 41 subsection 2 going to be substituted. And as per this section 41 subsection 2, which is with reference to section 16 subsection 2 clause C of CGST Act, and it is being stated, if supplier has not paid the tax, then such credit availed by the buyer of which supplier has not paid the tax need to be reversed, and it need to be reversed along with interest, and you can re-avail the credit as and when paid by the supplier. This is the proposed change by substituted section 41 of CGST Act through this Finance Bill 2022. The question which is important for all of us. Yesterday, PSD Chamber of Commerce has done one program, webinar, Pan-India webinar, with DGTS, Kolkata and Delhi zone. I posted this query to them. Sir, kindly clarify this proposed change which is being stated under section 41 is going to be prospective or it is going to be retrospectively applicable. Fortunate part, Additional Commissioner GST Policy Wing CBIC has responded, and he has said, and to my mind also, as per the proposed change in Finance Bill 2022, this is prospective clause and cannot be applied retrospectively. So the day Finance Bill get passed becomes Finance Act and it is being notified, that would be the date this substituted section 41 going to be applicable. So as a buyer, as a recipient, you need to reverse credit if supplier has not paid the taxes as per section 16 subsection 2 clause C of CGST Act along with interest, prospective clause. And you may re-avail the credit, and for re-availing credit, first part, there is no time limit condition. There is no time limit applicable as per section 16 subsection 4, and whatever interest you have paid at the rate of 18% per annum going to be a cost. But good part, it is going to be prospectively applicable. Then I asked, sir, what happened for the past period? Though there was no answer, but to my mind, that it is being disputed and demanded from the buyer, from the recipient. We can always reply to such notices, and we can cite those judgments which I referred just a while ago. Supreme Court judgment, KK Industries Limited, different High Court judgment under VAT, GST judgment coming from Madras High Court, DY Bethel Enterprises, relied upon legal maxim lex non cogit ad impossibilia, and we can always defend ourselves stating that unless department take action against the defaulting supplier, it cannot be demanded. It cannot be demanded from the buyer or recipient. And that legal maxim also going to help you if it is being alleged as an ineligible credit, because preceding supplier has not paid the taxes, then we can say there is no window available for the buyer, for the recipient, that he can cross-check and verify the credit flowing from the preceding supplier. And being this 41 which is being proposed in Finance Bill 2022 is a prospective clause yet to be notified, we can also defend that this section is going to be applicable from a date of notification and cannot be applied retrospectively. So this is what the crux, how to defend such notices whereby it is being demanded reversal of credit in case your supplier has not paid the taxes, even after collecting, and that too interest and penalty also being demanded. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on our YouTube channel for all GST update. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.